welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the series that I want to get to in the new year. We're getting towards the end of the year. When I'm filming this, it's still November, but realistically I'm not getting to any of these in the next month. I will say overall it doesn't feel like I had a great reading year, and I definitely did not have a great reading year for series. I have a lot of series I started and series that I told myself I start, and series that I said, oh yeah, I'll keep reading those and I'll finish them, and I didn't do any of that. So I'm gonna go through a list of books that I would like to continue the series, finish the series, or start the series in the new year, and God knows we'll see if that ever happens, but I like making these lists anyway as motivation. So the first one on my list is Ice Planet Barbarians. I have read the first 3 or 4 of these. There's a lot of them, so it's not necessarily a motivator to finish every one that Ruby Dixon has written, but I would like to continue the series and keep reading it, especially the main first series where all the main characters of the first Crash are in, but then I would like to read all of her other books as well. I love this series. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't know what makes it just so wild of a ride, but it's just so fun to read. They're books that you don't necessarily have to think too deeply about, and not in a bad way. They're just really fun escapism books, and I think sci-fi romance is really good at that. It's a lot about just escaping the world that we know and getting to experience something really fun and crazy out there in the universe. So I definitely would like to keep reading more of these. I don't even remember. I'd have to look on my library app to see which one I am on. But I think I'm on book 5. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep buying the paperbacks. I do love these covers so much. Whoever is the artist for these is just absolutely brilliant. And I don't know if she's going to publish all of them with these covers. I don't know, but I definitely want to keep collecting them and keep reading them. Next is Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the finale, I believe, to Kingdom of the Wicked. I read the first 2 in the series. I didn't quite get to the third yet. The third just came out in August, so really it's not that bad that I haven't read it yet. But I would very much like to finish the series where this goes. I have a feeling this one is going to be a lot more like adult fantasy, so I think that'll be a lot of fun to read. I just noticed rubies in the eyes on the cover. But I really want to see where this story goes, because I have no guesses. I have no idea where this is going. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I really am excited to see Amelia and Wrath truly working together. They are truly now have an understanding with one another, and they are on the same side, I believe. Who knows, maybe Kerri will throw a wrench in that. I mean, what's new? But I think that they finally have found an agreement, and they have found a way to work together, and I'm very excited to see how far that gets them, because I truly think that's the best option for them solving all of this, is to work together. So I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of romance, a lot of spice, a lot of magic, and I can't wait to finish the series. And it'll be the only series that I finish in a semi-reasonable time. We'll see. Next, I have Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare, because I still haven't read this. A Cassandra Clare book, a new one. This isn't even new anymore. It's so long ago published. I didn't read it when it first came out, which I've almost never done with the Cassandra Clare. This came out, 2021, which makes me feel like a loser. So this is even a collector's first edition, and I haven't even read it yet. It's so embarrassing. So I really want to read this. I don't believe the third one is out yet. It got postponed, if I believe. So I have time until the next one. I don't know when the next one comes out, but I really do want to read this. And I think part of the reason that I haven't continued with this series, one, it's really long, even though her books are pretty easy to read fast. I didn't love Chain of Gold. I really did like it, and I like getting to see the old characters we already know. I just had a really hard time keeping track of all the characters, which I've never had that problem with all Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices, everything else. So I just had a hard time keeping track of who was related to who and who everyone was. So maybe if I go in with a little bit more knowledge. Like maybe I need to reread the Infernal Devices first or something, and then reread these and be able to continue on with the series. I don't know, but this cover, I love this cover so much. I don't know if the light is going to be reflecting off of it too much, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know who this is. Is this Lucy on the cover? Or is it Cordelia? Or is Cordelia on the first cover? I don't remember. I don't know, but I'm very excited. I need to get to this. Like, me being behind on a Cassandra Clare series, it's very abnormal for me. So I will get to this very soon. Hope maybe in the beginning of the new year. We'll see. Next, this is the first book, but I would like to read the second and third book of the Inheritance Game series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read this one and absolutely adored it, so I would like to read the second and the third one, and I believe it ends there. I think it's just a trilogy, but I'm not for sure. I think that this book was so much fun. I loved the mystery, and there's so many questions left unanswered at the end of this one, so I definitely want to keep reading and see what this is all about. I want to know why she got all this money and why she's been dragged into this when she's seemingly unrelated to all of this drama, but she's clearly involved, so I am very excited to keep reading this series. A friend of mine has already read the second one, and she is reading the third one now or soonish, so I've heard so many good things about this series, and I need to keep going. I need to keep reading it. Next, this has been on my list for a really long time, Eru Shah and the Song of Death by Roshani Chokshi. This is book 2. I believe book 3 is also out, and frankly book 4 might even be out. I don't even know. I would, at this point, I'd have to reread the first one to continue reading it because it's been that long. But I do really want to read it. I love Rick Riordan Presents books. I just think they're always so much fun, and there's something about reading a middle grade like fantasy book like this, like urban fantasy. You just are transported to a different place. It's just so comforting to read these books. Of course, there's always a little bit of trauma sprinkled in there for these poor children, but I love reading these books. I remember really liking the first one. I couldn't tell you what the first one was about. I know they are Hindu gods. That's all I know. I know Eru Shah is in it, and I think this was a person who showed up at the very end of the first one. Was it a sibling, or was it just someone else who knows about the gods? I don't know. I'd have to reread the first one to read this, but I'm getting to it this year. I will. And honestly, I don't know what's holding me off. These books are so like fast to read because they're middle grade and they're only like 300 pages, but we all know I'm an expert procrastinator. So next, speaking of procrastination, Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. This has probably been, I think I've made this like a series I want to finish video before, and I'm almost positive this was also on that, but we'll see. This book, I have the beautiful special edition from Barnes & Noble with all of the gorgeous, I don't know what you would call that. It's a stars and a moon, obviously, and then there's art in the front, art in the back. I think I like this art better. Just Baz and whatever his other name is, Simon, looking their best. I need to finish this series. There's also the third one, Anyway the Wind Blows, that I need to read. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. It'll happen. I loved Carry On so much, so I know that it's just a matter of getting over like the hump of actually starting it, that I would love it once I read it. I think people don't like this middle one as much, but I've heard really good things about the third one. This is a short book for this series. It's only 350 pages, and then the next one is back to being like a long book. So I just love this cover so much. Like, do you just see how dramatic and beautiful this cover is? I love it. So yeah, this has been on my TBR for a long time, so I will get to it eventually. Next on my list, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've bought the first 2 books in this series. Is there 2 of them or 3? I think there's 3 of them. And I've heard incredible things about this book and this series. And I think it's a genre that I would really like. I think I would love the characters and trying to figure out what was happening, and I wanted to read it around Halloween time, like fall time, and I didn't get to it because I didn't read anything in October. Like, I think I read one book in October. So I would really like to get to this in the new year. It's not necessarily something I have to wait till next fall. I'm not so much like a seasonal reader, but I do really want to read this. I've heard such incredible things. I want to read more mystery books in the new year in general, not adult mystery and not adult thriller. I've given up on that genre. I said that last year. I read one adult thriller this year to just give it a try. I was right. I give up on that genre. I hate all of them. So but YA thrillers, for some reason, I like a lot better. So I think YA thriller writers are just a little bit less pretentious, and maybe it's just the books I've read in the adult thriller genre or the movies I've watched. It's just not my vibe. I think they take themselves really seriously, and I hate nothing more than like when it's being taken super seriously like that. I'm like, chill out, it's a book. But I really want to read this. That was a weird aside, but I really want to read this one. I've heard such incredible things, and I think it would just be a lot of fun. Also, I love the covers, and I put this on my list even though I haven't even started this series, because I bought the first and second one with the intention of like reading it right away, and then I didn't. So what's new with me? But yeah, I really want to read those soon. And then lastly on this list, to no one's surprise, this has been on every TBR list I think I've ever made, and at one point I feel like I'm gonna just have to give up, but I'm not to that point yet, and that is Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. Look, I'll get there eventually, okay? Why is it so long? Like, Diana, why? I love these characters. Why can't you, like, is there an abridged version I could read? I want to know more about these characters, these lives. There's so much more that I know that is going to happen, like, just from knowledge of this series. But, like, why do I have to read, let's see, how many pages is this book? 860 something pages. Why do I have to read that many pages to find out what happens to Jamie and Claire? That's so much. It's not a big font either. It's a little ridiculous. So it's on my list. It's a series that I do want to finish, although I think she's still writing the series, which is exhausting. I have said, like, oh, I'll just do the audiobook, but do you know how long the audiobook is? It's like 30 hours. The only book I have read that is this long is Les Mis, and like, that's Les Mis. Like, it's supposed to be long. Why do these have to be so long? And I love Jamie and Claire and their story and this setting. I love it all so much. I just wish she could cut it down to like half the size. Or maybe like, why isn't this 2 books? Then maybe it would be more manageable. I don't know. I do want to read them. I have very low expectations for myself actually getting to it. I don't know. Maybe I will do the audiobook and I'll do it in parts or something. But I'm putting it on the list once again. It's always on my list. I've yet to read it, clearly, but it's there, so we'll see. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I maybe get to some of these books in the new year. Let me know what you want to read in the new year. I upload videos every Sunday, talking bookish content. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!